Today, we have some updates circulating in the Iraqi Dinar community that are drawing attention to a specific date is Saturday, March 7. Several sources, speaking to analysts and observers in Iraq's financial circles, have hinted at events that could influence the dynamics around the Iraqi Dinar. While we always approach such information with caution, the repetition of this date from multiple sources suggests it's worth monitoring closely without jumping to conclusions or making speculative financial decisions. To start, it's important to place these hints in context. Iraq's economy has been navigating a complex landscape over the past several years, with fiscal pressures, political negotiations, and currency management all playing significant roles. The Iraqi Dinar, or IQD, has seen fluctuations not only due to domestic economic conditions, but also in response to global factors such as oil prices, foreign investment patterns, and regional geopolitical developments. While some community members may interpret these hints as signals of an imminent revaluation or a major currency adjustment, our approach is to examine what is actually happening in the economic and regulatory environment and what that could realistically mean for the dinar. Looking at the broader financial landscape, the Central Bank of Iraq has maintained a stable policy toward the dinar's official exchange rate. Despite rumors or community speculation, the bank has emphasized measured steps in managing currency stability and inflation control. Any sudden adjustment of the currency would involve significant macroeconomic considerations, including Iraq's foreign reserves, fiscal balance, and the overall stability of banking operations. Historical patterns show that the Iraqi authorities tend to favor cautious, incremental policy decisions rather than abrupt changes, primarily to avoid creating shocks in the economy or the broader financial system. Now, focusing specifically on March 7, there are several layers to consider. First, the sources that have mentioned this date do not provide specific details about what might occur, which leaves room for interpretation. It could relate to an economic announcement, a government decision on public spending, an update from the central bank, or even routine administrative processes that are simply gaining attention due to the pattern of speculation in online communities. The key takeaway for IQD holders is that while dates like this may generate excitement, the responsible approach is to monitor official channels, including the Central Bank of Iraq and credible financial news outlets, rather than relying solely on community speculation or unverified sources. In terms of short-term implications, attention to a specific date can impact trading sentiment in the parallel and informal markets. Even a perception that something could happen can cause temporary volatility as market participants adjust their positions in anticipation. For instance, if traders expect a significant announcement on March 7, you may see fluctuations in the unofficial exchange rate, which often diverges from the official rate due to market psychology and localized demand-supply dynamics. However, it's crucial to remember that such short-term movements do not necessarily reflect fundamental changes in the currency's value. Temporary spikes or drops are often reversed once the broader market absorbs the actual information, whether it's an official statement, a policy update, or confirmation that no major action is being taken. Looking further ahead, the long-term economic implications for the Iraqi dinar depend on structural factors rather than isolated dates. Iraq's fiscal health, driven largely by oil revenue, continues to play a central role in determining currency stability. International oil prices, domestic production capacity, and export logistics all influence government revenue and, by extension, the ability to maintain a stable exchange rate. Additionally, Iraq's efforts to attract foreign investment, implement banking reforms, and maintain macroeconomic stability will ultimately have a more sustained impact on the IQD than any short-term announcement. While it's natural to look for specific trigger dates, the most responsible way to evaluate the dinar's potential is to consider these structural, ongoing economic factors. Another aspect to consider is Iraq's monetary policy framework. The Central Bank of Iraq operates with a focus on liquidity management, inflation targeting, and exchange rate stability. Any changes that might be hinted at around March 7 would likely be part of broader policy measures rather than a standalone, isolated adjustment. For instance, updates could include minor regulatory changes, reporting adjustments, or communication about ongoing efforts to align Iraq's financial systems with international standards. While such updates can be noteworthy, they rarely translate into immediate, drastic changes in the value of the dinar, and investors should be aware of the distinction between regulatory announcements and market-moving events. It's also helpful to address the psychology around specific dates in the dinar community. The repetition of a date like March 7 can amplify expectations, but history has shown that this pattern often creates heightened attention without resulting in immediate financial impact. Community discussions, social media commentary, and rumors can magnify the perception of importance. But the reality is that currency adjustments require careful planning, regulatory oversight, and macroeconomic alignment. Following rumors without verification can lead to disappointment or misguided financial decisions. Instead, tracking official communications and analyzing the broader economic environment provides a more grounded understanding of potential developments. In practical terms, what does this mean for Iraqi Dinar followers? First, it reinforces the importance of patience and measured observation. Watching March 7 unfold should be an exercise in monitoring credible information rather than expecting guaranteed financial outcomes. For holders of IQD, maintaining awareness of official statements from the central bank, government ministries, and reliable news sources is the safest approach. Second, this period can serve as a reminder to evaluate one's financial strategy in a realistic context. Understanding the difference between short-term market fluctuations, rumor-driven speculation, and fundamental economic developments is key to making informed decisions. From an analytical perspective, one might examine the scenario from multiple angles. If an announcement were to occur on March 7, potential implications could include increased transparency in monetary operations, clarification on fiscal or budgetary plans, or updates on foreign currency reserves. Each of these developments would have different implications for the dinar. Clarification of monetary policy could stabilize expectations. Minor regulatory updates might slightly influence parallel market activity, and changes in foreign reserves could impact long-term confidence in the currency. Conversely, if no significant announcements occur, the event could highlight the gap between rumor-driven anticipation and actual policy execution, which is also valuable information for market observers. It's also worth discussing the broader economic environment surrounding the dinar. Iraq continues to navigate challenges such as infrastructure development, foreign investment attraction, and political stability. Each of these factors indirectly affects currency stability. For instance, successful reforms in banking, finance, and public revenue management can create conditions that enhance confidence in the dinar over time. Conversely, political or fiscal uncertainty can exert pressure on exchange rates, particularly in informal or parallel markets. By framing March 7 within this larger economic context, IQD followers can better understand that a single date, while noteworthy, exists within a dynamic and multifaceted financial system. One additional consideration is how international observers view the Iraqi dinar market. Global investors, regional financial institutions, and currency analysts tend to focus on fundamentals such as liquidity, fiscal discipline, and monetary policy credibility rather than specific community-driven rumors. By aligning analysis with these macroeconomic principles, followers can differentiate between noise and actionable insights. Understanding that changes in the dinar's valuation are more likely to result from systemic developments rather than isolated announcements provides a clearer framework for interpreting events as they unfold. It's also useful to highlight the importance of risk management. Even if March 7 were to bring an announcement with potential economic implications, it's critical for holders to maintain realistic expectations. Currency markets, particularly in emerging economies, can experience volatility due to a range of factors beyond a single government announcement. By approaching the dinar market with awareness, research, and measured expectations, individuals can protect themselves from the influence of hype, speculation, or misinformation. Looking forward, IQD followers should focus on several key pillars for long-term understanding. These include monitoring government fiscal policy, observing oil revenue trends, tracking central bank operations, and staying informed on regional and global economic conditions. Each of these pillars provides a clearer picture of the potential trajectory of the Iraqi dinar than a single date highlighted by rumor. While short-term interest in March 7 is understandable, integrating this with ongoing economic analysis ensures a balanced perspective. In conclusion, the mention of March 7 in multiple sources warrants attention, but should be interpreted cautiously. The date may coincide with routine announcements, policy clarifications, or administrative updates that are relevant, but not necessarily transformative for the Iraqi dinar. Short-term market reactions may occur, particularly in parallel exchange markets, but long-term currency stability will depend on structural economic factors, regulatory measures, and macroeconomic conditions. IQD followers are encouraged to observe developments critically, verify information from credible sources, and avoid making financial decisions based solely on speculative or unverified statements. As always, our approach is to provide responsible, factual analysis of the Iraqi dinar, emphasizing real economic developments over rumor or hype. Watching dates like March 7 unfold should be about informed observation rather than expectation of immediate financial gain. By understanding the broader context, fiscal stability, monetary policy, and regional economic dynamics, IQD holders can maintain perspective and plan accordingly. Thank you for tuning in to this update. Remember, our coverage is designed to provide informed, balanced insights into Iraq's economy and the Iraqi dinar. For continuous updates, moment-by-moment analysis, and responsible reporting on financial developments, subscribe to our channel and like this video. This content is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always consult credible sources and professional advisors before making any investment decisions.